Hello, I'm Cody Mucklerath. I'm the storyteller for Tales of Yurden, and we will be using the Savage World system as a base for all of our role-playing needs. This tutorial will cover the ins and outs of character creation. Right here, we have the handout, which you will use every time you make a new person in one of your games. Firstly, this button in the top left shows what types of characters you can make, wildcards and mooks. A mook is a general cannon fodder shopkeeper extra NPC that you will meet on a regular basis. Wildcards are major baddies, plot important NPCs, and all player characters. So you will be a wildcard. We'll go over what the difference between mooks and wildcards are in a later video. Next, you'll write your character's name, your name, their race, gender, and age. The only thing on here that changes anything stat-wise about the character is their race. We'll cover different races another day, so for right now we will just make a human. All humans get an extra edge, which we'll get to later on in this video. The character we'll be making for an example today, his name is Bobo the Fisherman. My name is Cody. His race is human, he is a male, and he is 30 years old. Don't worry about any of the numbers in this right-hand block. They're not important right now, and we'll get to those later. The next stop is attributes. These are the base that all other skills are built around. We have agility, smarts, spirit, strength, and vigor. Agility covers your general speed, nimbleness, and dexterity. Smarts affect a wide number of skills, from knowing how to dig for grubs to understanding atomic fusion. Spirit is a combination of your socialness and courage. Strength represents your physical brawniness, and vigor is how healthy and tough you are. One of my favorite things about Savage Worlds is that you do not add numbers to a set die when you boost a skill. Instead, you make the dice itself get bigger. So as you can see here, all 5 attributes start at a D4. Right here. They can each grow up to a D12. In a later video we will cover how rolls work, but for right now, just remember that D4 is poor, 6 is average, 8 is skilled, so on and so forth. You get 5 points to upgrade your attributes. Raising a die type costs 1 point. So going from a D4 to a D6 is 1 point. Going from a D6 to a D8 is another point. So spend wisely, because this will affect how expensive certain skills will be to purchase later. Bobo is going to take a D8 in agility, a D8 in smarts, and a D6 in strength. So this covers all 5 of his attribute points. Once again, don't worry about anything over here. We will cover that on a later date. Here you can write down the details on your physical appearance and personal history. That's all on you, so get as detailed as you like here. DMs love that. For right now, we're going to skip past edges and hindrances, but we will come back to them later because they are really important. For right now, we're going to talk about skills. There are 2 types of skills. There are core and non-core skills. We're going to look at core first. These are all of the skills that are in the core book. There are a ton to choose from, but just remember that you probably won't use all of these in your specific game. Bobo, for example, lives in the Stone Age, so piloting he probably won't use that much of. There are a ton of skills to choose from up here, yet these are still not enough. The creator of Savage Worlds love it when you think of things that they didn't. That's why non-core skills are a thing. If you need to do something that isn't in the books, like speak a different language, or have a specific set of skills like chemistry, you can write those down here. We'll open that up. Bobo, for example, speaks Spanish. This is where you need to talk to your DM, because every skill needs an attribute assigned to it. As a talking skill, you might assume this is a spirit check, but it's actually smarts because he has to learn how to speak Spanish. That brings us to the next point about skills. You have 15 points to spend, and raising the dice works a lot like attribute. 1 point raises the type of die you roll. However, unlike attributes, skills have a couple more rules. You do not start with a D4. You start with nothing, so you must spend 1 point just to get the 4. Then upgrading the dice costs 1 point until you get to the same number as the attached attribute that you see over here. Then the skills will cost double. To explain, Bobo wants the survival skill. So he'll come over here, click survival, and you see that that goes along with his D8 smarts. So he has 1 point for the 4, 1 point for the 6, 1 point for the 8. But then it costs him 2 points for the 10 and 2 points for the 12. That costs him 7 out of his 15 points. He's going to spend 2 points on his Spanish in order to keep up regular conversation because, like we said, 4 is poor and 6 is average. So he'll be able to keep up an average conversation. He's going to get 3 points in boating because he's got to get to where the fish are at. And he will take 3 points in notice. Now this is a very important one, and I highly recommend that you pick notice for every single one of your characters, because this skill covers your 5 senses, and pretty much everyone needs to know how to use those. Anyways, that covers all 15 of his points. So now we're going to move on to hindrances. These are what really make a character interesting because they force a sense of conflict. These come in 2 forms, major and minor. They also give you points to spend on good things later. A major hindrance gives you 2 points while a minor gives you 1. You are required to get at least 4 points of hindrance. You can get as many as you want so long as you're willing to deal with the consequences that come with them. I have all of the hindrances in the core book written down on this chart. But like I've mentioned before, if there's something specific for your character that isn't listed on here, just ask your DM if you can homebrew a hindrance. We are going to give Bobo a minor point from all thumbs, anemic, and arrogant. We're just picking those because those are the easiest to get to, and I don't feel like going through this entire list of hindrances. There's a lot you can pick here to make your character really interesting. So we will come back over here and add a hindrance. He is all thumbs, he's anemic, and he's arrogant. This one is a minor, that's 1 point. This one is also a minor, another point, and this one is a major, 2 points. And on your own time you would come in here and describe exactly what it is that edge or hindrance does. I have those written here on the sides. They're very wordy though, and it's generally best if you shorten it down a bit. This is copied verbatim from the book. Another thing about hindrances to remember is to pick things that you know will be a problem. DMs are supposed to reward you for good role playing. These rewards may come in the shape of a Benny. A Benny is a lucky point that you get to use to redo botched rolls. They do other things too, but we can, again, cover that in another video. So now that we have 4 points of hindrance to spend, we need to know what we can buy with them. Well, we have that over here. For 2 points, you can raise an attribute 1 die type, or choose an edge. An edge is the opposite of a hindrance, which are pretty nice. In my personal opinion, if you have to choose between raising an attribute or choosing an edge, I personally recommend choosing the edge. For 1 point, you can gain another skill point or gain additional money equal to your starting funds. If you start with $500, you get an extra $500. And this is where you really need to talk to your DM and see exactly how much he's letting you start with, because that's going to be different on every single game that you play. Bobo is going to get 2 edges with his points, and he's going to get a 3rd one for free just for being human. Now, edges are a little trickier than hindrances because they come with a rank and a requirement. Now, since you have 0 XP, you are a novice, and you can figure out exactly what rank you are later in the game just by checking this little chart. So for right now, Bobo can only pick edges that have the novice ranking next to them. There are also attribute and skill point requirements on some of these. So, you need to make sure that you cover the requirements for an edge before you buy it. And remember, just like we've been saying, make sure that if there's something on the list that you want and it's not here, make sure that you talk to your DM and make one. So for right now, we are going to give Bobo Ace, Acrobat, and Alertness. because he covers the D8 agility for this one, D8 agility for this one, and this one doesn't require any. So he is going to take the Ace, Acrobat, and Alertness edges, because all of these are novice rank, and he covers the D8 agility on both of these, and this one does not require any. So we will come back over here and write down that he's an Ace, he's an Acrobat, and he has Alertness. And that pretty much does it. Creation is quick and easy with Savage Worlds, and that's how they like to present most things in this system. If you want to know more about how to play, subscribe to watch our next video on skill checks, or watch us on our Let's Plays. Feel free to jump onto our Discord if you want to know what's coming next. The link is in the description. I'm Cody Mokulrath, and it's been a pleasure to teach you.